Hey guys, welcome to Property Hacks with Coast. So this is a podcast, episode 1, and we're going to be rolling these out over a series of time. We don't know how long, but we just thought it's a great way of sharing information with you all. We love our audience and we appreciate the feedback we get when we do things like this. So welcome, Jase.
Thank you.
Episode 1.
Let's give some hacks out there to the audience to help them get in the market.
Let's give them some tips and ideas. So I'm going to pose a question to you. The locals use buyer's agents and why?
It is a common one, isn't it? So we find a lot of people that are not familiar with using a buyer's agent, or those professionals within the industry quite often assume that it's only out of area buyers that engage us, people that are from Gold Coast, from New South, from Victoria, and they're always intrigued to learn that it's about 50-50, about half of our buyers are local and the other half are from out of area. But they all experience really similar challenges, don't they? So seeing a property come up online, they're only looking at the on-market space, first open homes on Saturday. By the time they get out there, it's either under offer or it's gone into a multiple offer. So they either miss the property, or when they're heading on in to actually put in an offer, they can't do any form of negotiation or be guided by the agent because it's in a multiple offer.
And sometimes when they've seen it online, an online listing can't tell you everything about the property.
Yep.
It could be overhead power lines, it could be backing onto a busy road or a railway line, or it just could be an underwhelming experience for them walking through it. It doesn't quite present quite as well as it does in person, as it does online, and they're all, buyers in particular, get excited and that emotion comes out straight away. Can't wait to look at this one, and a bit underwhelmed. We've got to start from scratch. This one's not a good fit for us at all. So there's a myriad of disappointments that buyers go through and experience, and no doubt a lot of our audience can probably resonate with that. Let's jump into, we're going to sort of break it into a couple of different segments because there's a little bit to talk about. Local knowledge versus market knowledge. Let's have a talk about that because that's pretty important.
What's your knowledge of the Sunshine Coast? 1 being I've never been, 10 I know it like the back of my hand and know it better than you, Simon.
That's a great question. So generally when we get an inquiry, what Jase is referring to is often when we are discussing our services with people for the first time, and it's a high percentage of people that are using a buyer's agent, that they've heard about the service but don't really know a lot about it. One of the questions we ask about local knowledge versus market knowledge, so that sort of sets us up for the conversation that's going to, uncover their situation and a little bit more about them. So I think there's a lot of our local clients that have good local knowledge of these are the suburbs we'd like to buy in, because either we own real estate here and we've lived here for a period of time, or we've been renting. We've been renting for 2 or 3 years and we love Sippy Downs, or we love Buderim, or we love Curramundi. That's where we want to live. And the local knowledge is really, really important for local people. But then market knowledge is a whole other conversation.
Definitely. When we're assisting someone to learn more about the Sunshine Coast, we often say the plan's in sand and the goal's in cement. They've got an understanding of where they would consider to be the best place on the coast to buy. And then once they start to learn a little bit more about what their must-haves are, or the nice-to-haves, or in particular their lifestyle, they might be very country-related people that want to have barbecues on the weekend. They want the kids to be playing out the backyard. They don't like a lot of crowd. They're not very beachy, and we're searching for them in Mooloolaba. So it's good to be able to provide that market insight in regards to areas that's probably going to tick the boxes for them a little bit more.
And it's also can work against a buyer where they are a bit pigeonholed, or they've set up, these are the parameters that we want to fit in. Yet they haven't really experienced other suburbs. For example, you had a client, like an actual client that we're sourcing for at the moment, that had certain suburbs that they wanted to buy in, and very, very early in that journey, you suggested, have you thought about this particular suburb? It's not in the direct catchment that you're looking, but it offers this, this and this. We suggest you go for a drive, get to know the community, go to the local bakery, get a local coffee at the coffee shop, get a feel for that particular pocket. And they did that off the back of your advice and said, Jase, we could actually see ourselves living there.
Welcome to the sub penthouse located here in the highly sought after development in Rise, in one of the best pockets of the Sunshine Coast, Cotton Tree. Come check out this view. From the moment our clients engaged, they had a very clear brief. They wanted to be in cotton tree, elevated, with ocean views, a stone's throw from the beach, but they were looking for something that was pretty special. From the moment that they stepped into level 10 at Rise and saw those 270-degree views from Noosa all the way down to Point Cartwright, they knew that it was the one. The property was going to auction. There was a fair amount of interest in the campaign, so we made the decision to run a strategy to secure the property prior to auction without competition, and we were thrilled to advise our clients that we had successfully purchased and that we'd found the one.
Day-to-day lives look like during the week,
Yep.
professionally, but like, what do your weekends look like?
Of course.
And sometimes they might be, for example, we want to buy in these coastal suburbs because we've got friends there, or we've rented there.
We've holidayed there.
We've holidayed there. But we're actually not beachgoers. On a weekend, if once the kids have finished their sport, we like to go to national parks and
Do a walk.
go for a walk.
Yeah.
Go for a walk and have a picnic. We're not beachy people at all, yet we believe we want to live near the beach. So understanding our clients' lifestyles outside of the Monday to Friday 9 to 5, the Sunshine Coast is an amazing region to live and bring up children for a number of reasons. We all know what those are. But yeah, like, you work hard to deserve a bit of time off over the weekend. What would you like to be enjoying? What part of the Sunshine Coast would you like to be enjoying on the weekend? And if that would open up, we actually, honey, why we want to be in Maroochydore or Watala, or like, we prefer to be close to the maybe Glasshouse, for example.
You get a better understanding of the local area.
Yeah.
And then, of course, there's the market. You know, what does the actual market look like in those particular pockets? Is majority of stock selling before it comes to market? Are the agents that service those areas, they like to take things to auction, or are they happy to sell off market? So within those particular pockets, there's different agencies, strategies, agents. It can be really, really challenging out there. So I do feel for a lot of buyers, if you're struggling out there, we understand, and certainly that's why we're here to help.
Absolutely. Market knowledge too, Jase. So we've talked about locals. Locals know the lifestyle. Well, hopefully they understand lifestyle, streets and schools. So obviously there's also school catchments.
Yes.
We understand that's a big driver, being in the geographical search if they're going to a state school. If they're going to a private school, that's different. But market knowledge, we've got here pricing, competition and timing. So it's all very well back onto our point about why do locals engage us. They might come to us with a certain idea and parameters around where, but then understanding what the market, what's driving the market conditions in that particular suburb.
Yeah,
supply and demand, big one. Method of sale, another one. Days on market, another one. Competition, another one. So
I think even when you speak about campaign types, and those buyers that are choosing to engage that are local have really similar frustrations to those that are out of area, in the sense of, it says contact agent. The agent's job, their number one job, is to list and sell the property and get the best possible result for the vendor. That's their role. We appreciate and respect that role. Our role is to find the right property, avoid buying the wrong one, and be able to buy it as well as we possibly can. So when they start to look at properties that are within those areas and they see contact agent or auction or price upon application, they speak with the agent. The agent's had a huge amount of interest in the property, and the agent says, come on out and see the property in person. We'd like to get some of your feedback from the market. So what we want to be able to do is, we've carried out some price due diligence prior to exploring this property, and it's actually well out of your budget. This isn't one that we need to explore. Or we've had a look at this property, and from the price due diligence that we've carried out, this is one that's well and truly something to consider. So a bit of market knowledge in that space can save a lot of... We've had buyers that have engaged that have been out and sourcing and doing their best on their property search on their own over the past 12 months, and have seen a property that they've fallen in love with, spoken to the agent, they've been from out of area and they've jumped on a plane, partner's flown up, the kids have flown up, they've gotten to the open home. Now, you know the property's under contract, right? Like, oh my God, we've just...
We saw it online like 2 days ago.
So the agent's done an exceptional job at getting the property under
Hey guys,
contract.
it's Simon and
Incredibly
Tiana
quick.
from Coast
And a lot
Property
of the
Buyers.
times they've got
Today we're
so
going to share
many
something
people
with you
to
very
look back.
special.
This property may
Storybridge
be
Farm is a
incredibly
iconic
important to your
acreage property we've
search,
secured recently for
but the
local
selling
clients.
agent's done their job
Today
and
it
they've
sits
got
proudly
that
on the ridge,
contract.
soaking in
But their
sweeping
job, if they're
views
not
from
going
every
to
window.
get
Across the
confident,
land,
is to
you'll
get a
discover
backup offer
Stanley
in
River
place,
frontage,
and that may
rolling
be
hills,
inviting
peaceful
you to
dams,
property
a massive
that's
shed
under
with a
contract.
workshop, a greenhouse, an orchard, stockyards, a cattle
can happen
crush.
very
It's
quickly.
private, it's breathtaking, and it's the
so
kind of place you
The
arrive at
example that
and
Jase has
instantly
just
exhale.
provided
For
is
our
that,
clients,
you know,
this wasn't just
unless
a
you've made that
purchase.
inquiry to the
It was a
agent,
dream
you
in the
will know
making.
where it is
A massive
involved.
congratulations
It could
to
have-
our
and it will
clients.
give you some
You've
sort of
secured something
parameters
truly
online
rare.
in terms of one of the benefits of buyer's agent is, you know, we can
I'm
often
Simon from
purchase
Coast
the
Property Buyers. If you're chasing an
and
acreage
structure our
property,
offer so
I'd be
that
honoured
we
to
can
represent
accept
you.
that it's prior to the first open date. Or prior to an open date coming up. So timing is crucial, and what I mean by timing, an offer on a Monday afternoon or a Monday night is different to an offer on a Friday morning.
Absolutely.
Completely different.
Yep.
And buyers, you're not supposed to know this, but there's agents out there that have a different process for doing multiple offer, for handling offers prior to auction, for how a negotiation works. That's what a buyer's agent will have knowledge of, because
Yep.
we're talking to these agents daily, weekly, on a regular basis, whereas you might be doing this for the first time in 10, 15 years, and you don't know the right questions to ask.
Correct.
Yeah.
And having a level of confidence when putting an offer forward or even going and bidding at an auction. So I think some of the reasons that are important for buyers when they're looking to engage us is either to save time is a big one, or to save money. And what I mean by that is protection from overpaying.
Yeah.
So price due diligence on a property is incredibly important for our buyers. So we don't really mind what the campaign or the strategy is, whether it's auction, contact agent. Auction that we went to on the weekend and bid on behalf of one of our clients, we'd done thorough price due diligence on it. We had an understanding of what the record sale was in the building for an apartment of the same size, the same config, 2-1-1. So that particular auction, whilst it was a larger courtyard, the price due diligence that we carried out allowed our confidence to go and bid to a level.
What he means by that, guys, is to a level where you felt the client wasn't overpaying for
Correct.
the property.
That's absolutely right.
This is the price where we think it fits.
Yep. Now, of course, we will say, or an agent will say, someone paid that on the weekend, so that's what the value of the property is now worth. But what we experienced at the auction was two very emotional buyers, and both of them wanted it, no matter what. There was tears.
Hence the reason why agents auction. Agent did their job and got a great result. That's what auctions often bring out, is emotion. Yep.
Yeah, they brought out the emotion, ran the campaign well, ran the auction well. There was tears towards the end of the buying, and an absolute record result for the vendor, and the agent, the auctioneer, and the vendor are thrilled with the outcome. We didn't see value at that level, and there's other properties that we've explored that we can purchase sub where that's sold that are actually bigger and that are a better fit for our buyer.
So just what Jase said then, and I think it's the biggest difference between self-representation and professional representation using a buyer's agent. Like, there would not have been, I'd very much doubt, I could be wrong, but there wouldn't be many people during their process of doing due diligence prior to the auction, in brackets there's none, no one does due diligence really, other than getting a guide from the agent if it's a listed property, if it's an auction, maybe a CMA. But give us an idea, Mr. or Mrs. Agent, about the last couple of sales in this complex. Like, what's the comparable sales? What is the record price for this complex? No one would know that going into that auction. And emotion is driving that result.
Yep.
Whereas we go in with a more level-headed, measured, feet on the ground, not a head in the clouds approach, and say to our clients, this is the due diligence we've done as far as pricing's concerned. This is where it's coming up. Anything over and above that, if you want to pay more than that, that's up to you, but we feel you'd be overpaying for the property.
And, the proof was in the pudding, in the sense that it was on the market, meaning that it had hit reserve at about dollar for dollar where we'd appraised it to. And we just saw it sail past that. When I had I bid without my buyer there. She did have some other family members that were there, which was fun. And when I spoke to her afterwards, she said, thank God I wasn't there. Because inherently, my God, should I go to this?
Let's
level?
go another 10, let's go another 5.
Let's throw some more at this.
Yeah.
And the last thing that we want is to buy the wrong home or to overpay for a property. So if we can remove that emotion, be the barrier between the agent and the buyer, and make sure that when they walk out of there, they're not the person going, honey, do you think we should have stopped 50 grand ago?
What Jase has mentioned there, benefit, saving your time, saving your money, we'd rather you keep that $20, $30, $40, $50,000 in your pocket for either a superior property or a property that offers something similar in terms of style, substance and location, but for a price that we see value at.
Yep, absolutely. Heading into a multiple offer, like we're seeing a lot of multiple offers now, more than I've seen over the past 4 years. And you head into a multiple offer, and of course the agent's job is to be able to get the best result possible. Guys, best foot forward. The buyer might not have the skill set or the knowledge to ask the right questions, to learn the seller's circumstance, to get a really clear understanding that, okay, if mine's not quite where the interest is regarding price, but my settlement term lines up and I've reviewed the building and pests and I'm 100% confident on my finance, I could actually make mine a cash offer with the settlement to suit the seller. I've lost count on the number of multiple offers that we've won, where we're the second, third, fourth highest offer.
Yeah, we're not the highest value on the contract.
Yep.
But cleaner terms.
Absolutely.
So clean terms speaks volumes, guys. Let's jump into another reason why locals use buyer's agents. We've talked about being time poor. And rather than you spend your time either after hours, so let's face it, there's a lot of agents that will run open homes maybe on a Tuesday or a Thursday afternoon, like midday on a Wednesday. You can't just drop everything and rush out. That's what we're here for. Same with weekends. Okay, school's just gone back. Obviously, we're now in the early part of February. Kids are going to start having activities after school. And they've got sport on a Saturday morning, Saturday afternoon. So juggling family, commitments with kids, everyone's time poor.
And I think once you reach that point, particularly if you've been searching for, I don't know, more than 3 months, if you've been searching for 5, 6, 7, 8, 9 months, and you're dragging the kids around, the kids are in the car, my God, not another open home. Mum, Dad, can we not do this? You may arrive to a property that doesn't meet your brief, it's not suitable, and some of the things that, like we speak about acceptable compromise and unacceptable compromise. And if the brief is it cannot be backing onto a motorway, some buyers will eventually get to the point where they go, honey, it's a 4, 2 and 2 with a pool. It's within our budget. It backs onto the highway. Let's just buy it.
We're just sick of this.
Let's move on.
We're over
Let's
it.
get in the market. I had a lovely couple, a retired couple, and their brief was low set, had to have a pool or room for a pool, had to have room for the caravan, it needed to be neat and tidy, didn't want any body corporates. And within a few weeks of searching, he said, what about this one? And it was a duplex, no pool, no room for the caravan. Said, oh mate, it's high set, it's not low set. And he said, I'll put in a lift. So if there's no room for the caravan, I'll put the caravan in storage. So you can see the point that people get to. You know, these things that are really important, we can let them wash away. And, you know, what do you think I should do, Jase? So it's not the one. You'll know when it's the one. And it was within days, and we found him low set, dual driveway, room for the caravan, had the pool, flat, and I ticked all the boxes for him.
Yeah, it's a good point. Sometimes when our clients engage us, they've been looking themselves for 3 to 6 months, so they've had 3 to 6 months of pain. We've got to be very careful that they don't jump on the first one that's close enough. We've got to teach them about a bit of patience. Back to, you know, you don't want your weekends made up of, you know, running from one open home to the next. Oh, there's 3 we really love, and they're all open at 11 o'clock. You know, there's ways we can get around that by looking at them during the week through our relationships with the agents. But I remember I looked at a property down, it was beachside Nicklin Way somewhere that was going to auction, and it was a knockdown, but it was also a renovator. Good block of land, it was on a corner, and I saw this couple, and they would have had probably 4 kids under the age of 8, all just running everywhere in the house. The wife had her mother with her, and I heard them chatting outside, and they just were talking to other people. They were laughing about, oh, you know, how do you keep an eye on all your kids? And they said, look, we couldn't do it without my mum. That's why my mother's with us, because we can't manage this, just my husband and I. We've got 4 kids we're dragging from one open home to another, and we just can't manage it on our own. And we can't leave them in the car. So there's an easier way to do it, guys.
What do you always say? Your most important commodity? It's time.
Yeah.
Give you back your time.
100%. Other reasons why local buyers would use a buyer's agent, we've talked about time poor, don't want their weekends lost to inspections, want early off-market access, just like anyone. That just means, guys, more options, more opportunities, more properties to consider that you wouldn't necessarily get unless you've got a really, 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 really strong relationship with one agent. It's hard to do that with multiple agents. That you're relying on that one agent. Can you keep us in mind, Mr. or Mrs. Agent? Yeah, sure I will. But we know agents that's not their job. Their job's not to run you from one property to another and show you all the pre-markets and run around for you. That's what a buyer's agent's role is.
Yep.
Yeah.
We were just speaking with someone about this morning.
We were.
But she was saying for about a week, I'll do my best to, if I'm out there prospecting.
Agent. This is an ex-selling agent.
Yeah, ex-selling agent. Do my best to, if I do find something that has this, but with the pool, but after about a week and they've met another 200 people.
How do I prioritise?
Correct. Yeah. Don't be offended out there if you've spoken with a selling agent and the selling agent has done their best to keep you in mind. Just remember what their role is, and it's really important that they sell that property for their vendor that they're representing.
Emotional distance, some key points here. So locals can overpay to stay in the area they really like.
Yep.
We've got a new client at the moment that they like a particular part of the coast because their boys have got friends in that suburb and they quite like going there and playing. But one of the things we explain, and this can be all buyers, but certainly these buyers are local buyers. They live locally and they're moving from one suburb to another suburb, and their kids are all under the age of 10. And I said, guys, how long do you see yourselves staying in your next family home? So it'll be at least 10 years. So you'll have 3 teenage boys, and the area you're looking to buy in, the land content is not big.
Yep.
It's not great.
You're going to grow out of it very quickly.
Yeah, it's not going to be it can be a 10-year home for you, but the boys are going to be on top of each other.
Yep.
They can't really play footy in the backyard. They can't play cricket. They can't throw a ball. They can't throw a frisbee because that particular suburb is just tied on land content.
Yep.
So let's move to let's suggest another suburb where you might get an inferior home in terms of finish, but you'll get a 700, 800, 900 square metre block.
Yep.
Nor red flags. That's what locals can do.
Yep.
They overlook things that we would generally uncover for them because they say we just want to buy in this suburb. So let's face it, the buyers that are not engaging a buyer's agent, if you're doing this yourself, you got no one, you don't have anyone mentoring you or guiding you or advising you. You're making all those decisions yourself.
And even when inspecting a property, I've been to some renovated properties during an open home, and you see people walk through and on the surface, this looks like a stunning home. But when you attend it and you're not challenged with all of the noise and the environment of, sorry, excuse me, can I get through? And you realise that the floating floor's been poorly laid down, that the tiles in the bathroom aren't actually tiles. You know,
one coat of paint.
Yeah, it's things that are looked past quite easily. And, you know, how does this configuration actually work for you as a family? It doesn't actually work for us. So it is easy when you're going through an open home. In today's market, you know, we don't do a lot of inspections on a Saturday because we tend to inspect them during the week. But for those inspections that I went to over the weekend and for the auction that I bid at, you're tripping over people to get in. You know, there was standing room only. So if you're trying to, like I often say to people, we spend more time buying a jacket than what we do actually looking at a property. People will go through an open home, 30-minute window, they get in and get out within 15 minutes. We think it suits. So when we go through and say, okay, this is what I've unpacked in this property. I've got some concerns around the bathroom. I've got, you know, let's get some waterproofing certificates to make sure that when they did the reno, they did waterproofing. The floating floor's a little bit noisy. I don't think that that's been done well. This is what I've unpacked. Maybe this isn't a suitable property for us.
There's also a difference between professional inspection and emotional inspection. When you've seen a property online, oh honey, I love the family room and it flows out onto the back deck, which then overlooks the pool and we can see our kids playing in the backyard. Let's just focus on that. Then you're a bit blinded to maybe some of the aspects of the property that don't measure up, that you overlook.
But it's going to be a challenge once you get in there.
Correct. So we go in with an unfiltered, you know, unbiased, but overall viewpoint of, the family room's lovely and the back deck's lovely, and the look over the view over the pool's amazing. I can see the kids playing there, and you having a cup of tea or a drink on an afternoon, enjoying your home. However,
the bedrooms are 2.6 by 2.8.
The second and third bedrooms are tiny.
Yeah.
There's no second living space for when the kids get older.
Yeah.
You know, the dining room's right on top of the kitchen, which is right on top of the family room. Doesn't flow very well.
It's in a flood zone.
Flood zone. Exactly.
So it's unbiased, and I guess, you know, that's probably where we can wrap up. We want to be helping you to avoid buying the wrong home is step one. And then when we do find and secure the right home, that it's bought under the best possible terms possible, best price possible, and overall that you've got a clear understanding of the property and anything that you need to be aware of in that state.
So just wrapping up, guys, it's consistently 40 to 50% of the clients that we do represent live in their own backyard where they're looking to buy, and they're doing it and they're engaging us for the reasons we've mentioned.
Yep.
And they just don't want to fight amongst everyone else. You're just another buyer to an agent. You don't have any professional representation, and a lot of the time you're flying blind.
Yep.
You need some help.
Elevate your position. Give yourself unfair advantage.
Correct.
Yeah.
100%.
Thanks for joining us on Coast.
Thanks, guys. We'll catch you on the next podcast.